Hello, Brewer Fanatics, and welcome back to another video as we make a very interesting trot to play the LA Dodgers, the one of the best teams in baseball right now. But Brandon and I, of course, have confidence in the Milwaukee Brewers, and we hope you do too. And we're here to discuss what's going to possibly happen in game one of this matchup. Brandon, what are your thoughts here?
Yeah, I mean, listen, the Brewers got a lot of playoff monkeys off their back by beating the Cubs in Game 5. I mean, it's well known obviously around here, but the Brewers haven't won a playoff series in I think since 2018 before this, if memory serves. Obviously, that year they made it to the NLCS against the Dodgers and lost in 7 games. Hopefully, fortune will favor them this time. But yeah, this was really important. The Cubs are a good team, and we saw it in that NLDS series. They pushed the Brewers to the limit, and the Brewers escaped. Home field advantage helped, which again they're going to have in this NLCS, which is nice. Um, yeah, it's exciting. I mean, the Dodgers are the reigning champions. They have crushed their way through the playoffs. They swept the Reds in 2 games in the wild card round. They beat the Phillies in 4 games in the division series, and now they're going to take aim at the Brewers. And I think the scary thing about the Dodgers right now is that they're healthy. Their pitching staff is mostly healthy. Roki Sasaki has moved into like this hybrid closer role, like almost like Dennis Eckersley back in the day, where he's like a multi-inning closer, and it's really scary because he's so good and he's just handling multiple innings as a closer. Their starting rotation is mostly healthy at this point. Blake Snell, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Shohei Ohtani's pitching, 6 innings a game. It's a really, really good team that the Brewers are going up against. That being
Um,
said,
oh,
oh,
sorry. I'm sorry. No, please go on. I have something to say about that, but please go on.
I'll say that, the Brewers are a really good team, right? I mean, again, they're the number one seed in the National League. They just beat a really good Cubs team. Obviously the starting pitching depth is a little questionable. The bullpen is probably a little taxed from that Cubs series, but this is a Brewers team that can absolutely hang with the reigning champions.
Yeah, what I was going to say to that is yes, the bullpen probably is a little bit spent right now after going up against multiple games against the Cubs. However, the rest of our team is ready and revving to go at the end of the day. The Dodgers have had plenty of time to rest at this point, but we are coming off up against sudden death and then some from Chicago. So I think that shows a lot of green flags here with the Brewers where we're coming off hot. We're coming off a big win here. So, and the Cubs are no ordinary feat to beat at the end of the day. Yeah, the sudden death game was a pretty easy win at the end of the day. But back at Wrigley, we were really struggling to beat the Cubs and we still came out on top. So I think if you think back also to when the Cubs faced the Cubs beat the Dodgers quite easily in their second round of playing the Dodgers. So again, I think that shows a lot of green flags that the Brewers can hold their own against the Dodgers if they can beat the Cubs.
Yeah, I mean, I think, as you were saying, the Cubs handled the Dodgers throughout this season. Obviously, the Brewers handled the Dodgers throughout the regular season as well. I mean, there's reason to believe that the Brewers can hang with these guys. I mean, again, the pitching matchups I think are going to be where the Dodgers are most favored, starting pitching wise. I think the Brewers have the better bullpen for sure. The Dodgers have had a lot of issues, with underperformance and injuries in their bullpen this year. But again, it's good. Part of the issue, obviously, with facing the Dodgers is, they have a murderer's row of hitters. Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts, Teoscar Hernandez, Freddie Freeman. It's just, I mean, Will Smith if he's healthy. I mean, it's just a really difficult lineup to get through, and it's a difficult lineup to get through multiple times as a starting pitcher, which again is going to put a lot of onus on the bullpen. And again, it's worth pointing out, as Ethan said, the Dodgers are well rested. They have not played since Thursday, about 4 days ago, before game one of the series. The Brewers obviously were pushed to game 5 over the weekend, so advantage rest wise to the Dodgers. Again, Brewers have home field advantage, so in that sense they have the advantage. But I think it's going to be a good series. Again, the last time these two teams played, in the NLCS, it went to 7 games. So if it goes that way again, it's going to be a really exciting series. It's just, overall, it's right now, I think the vibe should be high. Again, as Ethan said, getting past the Cubs was the first big test. Getting, these recent sort of stinkers in the playoffs off their backs and getting past that was really important. And again, now at this point, I mean, it's just 4 wins. I mean, 4 wins against a really, really good team, but it's just 4 wins at this point to get to, where the Brewers haven't been since the 1980s.
Yeah, it's a really interesting time to be a Brewers fan. I will say the one thing that I always worry about, it's all sunshines and rainbows here. at Brewer Fanatic. But at the same time, I always have a worry, and I think that is the health of our players. And I worry about that on many different teams. But I think that scare with Jackson Chorio being on the IL was really worrisome just a few games ago. So I'm really kind of keeping my eye out, and I think the team definitely will be as well, and the front office will as keeping Jackson Chorio, our star player. I mean, we all have really good players, but I think Jackson Chorio has been our ace this past season. So I think keeping him and the rest of the team healthy, especially going up against a team like the LA Dodgers, is something to be wary of. But as always, we'd love to hear your comments going into this game. What are you thinking? What are you hoping for? Obviously, it's a win. And as always, we'd love to hear your comments in the comments section below, and we will respond to every single one.